Let me ask you something heavy. What if you tell people the truth again and again, clearly, honestly, and they still refuse to listen? Not once, not for a year, for your entire life. That's where the book of Jeremiah begins. And that's why it's one of the hardest books in the Bible to sit with. Jeremiah is not a powerful prophet. He's not confident. He's not dramatic. He doesn't enjoy confrontation. He's young, sensitive, reluctant, and God chooses him anyway. That already tells you something. Truth doesn't always come through strong personalities. Sometimes it comes through people who feel the pain deeply. Jeremiah is called to speak to a nation that thinks it's safe. The temple is standing. Religion is active. Traditions are intact. People assume nothing bad can happen to us. Jeremiah says, "You're wrong." That's the core tension of this book. Everyone wants reassurance. Jeremiah brings warning, and people hate him for it. Jeremiah's message is not complicated. It's just uncomfortable. You're trusting symbols instead of substance. You're protecting power instead of people. You're performing faith instead of living it. That message never goes out of style. People don't attack Jeremiah because he's false. They attack him because he's accurate. Jeremiah keeps saying something nobody wants to hear. Collapse is coming. Not because God is weak, but because injustice rots societies from the inside. This prophet cries more than any other. That's why he's often called the weeping prophet. Not because he's dramatic, because he cares. He loves the people who reject him. That's painful. Jeremiah doesn't stand at a distance. He suffers with the message. He's mocked, ignored, beaten, imprisoned. At one point, he's thrown into a pit and left to die slowly. Truth is rarely rewarded in the moment. Here's something raw about Jeremiah. He argues with God. He says, "Why did you choose me? I didn't ask for this. I wish I had never been born." That's not rebellion. That's honesty. Jeremiah teaches that faith can include frustration. Silence doesn't mean lack of belief. Anger doesn't mean disloyalty. This book also exposes false hope. Other prophets tell people, peace is coming. Everything will be fine. Jeremiah says, they're lying to you. False hope is more dangerous than bad news because it delays change. Eventually, what Jeremiah warns about happens. Jerusalem falls. The temple is destroyed. The city burns. People are exiled. Everything they trusted collapses. And here's the painful part. Jeremiah survives. He sees it happen. He lives through the ruins. Being right doesn't protect you from grief. Jeremiah walks through a broken city. And instead of saying, "I told you so," he weeps. That's maturity. But Jeremiah is not just a book of destruction. In the middle of collapse, something incredible happens. Hope appears. Quietly. Unexpectedly. Jeremiah talks about a new covenant. Not written on stone. Written on hearts. That's revolutionary. He says the future won't be about external pressure. It will be about internal transformation. Not control. Change. Jeremiah also buys land while the city is falling. That makes no sense. Why invest when everything is collapsing? Because hope isn't denial. It's commitment beyond the moment. This book understands trauma, displacement, loss of identity, shame. And it says, your story is not over just because your city fell. Jeremiah speaks to people who feel betrayed by life, who trusted systems that failed, who did everything right and still lost everything. He doesn't sugarcoat recovery. Healing takes time. Trust rebuilds slowly. Faith feels fragile after betrayal. One of the most famous lines in Jeremiah is misunderstood. Plans to prosper you. That line was written to people in exile, not success, survival, hope during long waiting. Jeremiah redefines faithfulness, not winning, enduring, staying honest when it costs you, loving people who reject you. If Isaiah warns a nation before collapse, Jeremiah walks with them through it. This book answers a terrifying question. What happens when God doesn't rescue you from consequences? Answer: God stays with you inside them. Jeremiah shows that judgment and compassion can exist together. Truth and love are not opposites. This book matters today because people still trust institutions blindly. People still confuse religion with safety. People still silence voices that warn them. And collapse still hurts. Jeremiah doesn't promise quick restoration. He promises presence. And presence is sometimes all you have left. If you've ever felt, I tried to warn them, but they didn't listen. I spoke the truth and lost relationships. I'm tired of caring. Jeremiah understands you. He shows that faithfulness doesn't guarantee success, but it gives meaning. Jeremiah doesn't end with triumph. It ends with survival, with scars, with hope that feels fragile but real. And that might be the most honest ending of all. The book of Jeremiah is not about predicting the future. It's about staying human when everything around you falls apart. Truth may cost you comfort, but losing truth costs everything. That's Jeremiah. Lonely, faithful, broken, necessary.